Sometimes people who share their stories that maybe at a certain age, I was inspired by this event and that's changed how I look at life. So did something happen to you maybe, or it's something that was burning inside of you?
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because the starting point of my career was sparked by my mom's...
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom was diagnosed with lupus. It's an autoimmune condition, and this was when I was about 16. My mom was diagnosed with it, and at the time, lupus wasn't a thing that was well known. It was still in the early stages of being discovered. There were not a lot of treatment options.
How's it, guys? Welcome to our podcast show for Alarasi. My name is Tim. I'm part of the marketing team at Alarasi. So this morning, guys, we're just having a great day. So we have our wonderful guest this morning, Dr. Ray. Maybe I'll give her a second just to introduce herself to us. Dr. Ray.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show. My name is Dr. Ray, and I'm a homeopathic doctor. I also specialize in functional medicine and functional nutrition. And I'm honored to be here today.
Fantastic. So the word doctor, when I think of the word doctor, a lot of things come to my mind. So was it something that you always wanted growing up, or maybe it's something that was given to you by somebody, maybe your parents?
I think if I look at myself from the time I was little, I've always been inclined to helping people.
Okay.
Always wanted to make a difference. I've always been a people's person, where I enjoyed giving off a service.
Yeah.
So I always knew that this was something I wanted to do. It was in line with my beliefs. I chose the career as a homeopath because of the belief system that I follow, which is more of a natural lifestyle.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right, fantastic. So was it something that's like from birth? Sometimes people who share their stories that maybe at a certain age, I was inspired by this event and that's changed how I look at life. So did something happen to you maybe, or it's something that was burning inside of you?
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because the starting point of my career was sparked by my mom's...
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom was diagnosed with lupus. It's an autoimmune condition, and this was when I was about 16. My mom was diagnosed with it, and at the time, lupus wasn't a thing that was well known. It was still in the early stages of being discovered. There were not a lot of treatment options. And when my mom was diagnosed, obviously conventional medication was the first line of treatment. And my mom was obviously treated with using physician diagnostics and treatment in terms of corticosteroids.
Okay.
The progression of my mom's lupus was more so from the medication that she was taking rather than from the disease itself.
Oh, I see.
So it got to a point where I was in grade 11, when you're about to apply for your careers. And I came home one day and I just saw my mom laying on the bed and she was not well. So my sister and I, obviously, we called the ambulance, we rushed her to the hospital, and at that point we just knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
So thankfully for my dad, he was like a fighter, and I need to get a second, a third opinion. And when we got that, we discovered through a different physician that my mom's dosage of her medication was so high that it was causing toxicity and extra inflammation in her body, which was deteriorating her condition further. So it wasn't actually even the lupus. When my mom was flushed with detoxes and IV drips to get that toxicity out of her body. She obviously came out of hospital, and through her experience, she started researching alternative treatments.
Okay.
What are some of the natural ways that we can, look at this or treat lupus? And that's how she got in touch with a homeopath.
Oh, I see.
And ever since then, I think it was life-changing for her. And I think growing up or experiencing that and seeing the amazing miracle that happened with my mom and where she was to where she is, using a natural way of life, inspired me.
Okay. No, that's very touching.
Yeah.
I mean, to think of like how you inspired, because obviously it was a very sensitive story.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to me, it just sounds like you extracted a positive attitude out of it.
Yes.
Like how she was taken to the hospital, how like the dosages were up and down and all those things. So I mean, it's very an interesting and also an inspiring story. So do you think it's something that you will tell the next person to pursue in terms of the career?
Of course, 100%. I will tell you that when I graduated, which was about 8 years ago, homeopathy and natural medicine wasn't where it is today. It was a very new kind of introduction to alternative medicine, although it's been here for years, but people were not as responsive to it as they are today. I think there's been a shift in the way that people view medicine in general, and there's been a shift in the way people are now choosing to either put in what they put in their body and the way that they are choosing to have lifestyle changes impact their health.
Yeah.
So in terms of career-wise, homeopathy has definitely improved, and I would encourage anyone who is into healthcare to consider this as an option, because you can do amazing things with it.
Okay, fantastic.